even though I am convinced that this God exists, does not necessarily mean that I need to agree with said God. What they do is they use high-level philosophical jargon. And actually, half of the time when you do the research, you find out that what they're actually speaking on does not make any sense philosophically.
Yes.
They go into rooms looking for low-hanging fruit for people that are not at all philosophically minded, which I'm not saying you are. I feel as if you do have a good sense of philosophy.
Probably is quite a bit of evidence out there to prove the non-existence of Zeus. When you say there probably is that because you haven't looked into the positive evidence for the non-existence of Zeus?
That's correct.
Okay, so then what would your criteria be?
I don't think that's true.
I couldn't quote the Greek for you, right? I couldn't tell you the stories.
No. Look. It's just gonna be like if we use philosophical terms and stuff like that. You may not know what the term is, but you know of the reference. Oh, okay, that's what that is. Okay. Now, when we're talking about evidence for why Zeus doesn't exist, Zeus was initially posited as the explanation for a lot of things that we currently understand, but we did not understand back then. Now, Jeff is probably privy to many of those explanations, and so yes, he is aware of them. Just because he can't put them into words right now doesn't mean that he doesn't know them, right?
Well, no,
like the lightning bolt thing.
just...
You didn't think that he knew that lightning bolts, like we have a scientific explanation. Of course, he fucking knew that.
Hold on, wait a second.
And I knew Zeus.
I'm just asking Jeff questions and getting his answers, and then now, Tom, you're answering for Jeff.
That's
you
correct.
Actually disagreed with Jeff.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, I am. Yes, you are correct, and John, you are correct. I am answering for him, and I am bailing him out. Yes, that's correct. And if you got a fucking problem with it, you're gonna have to kick me out the fucking stage.
That affirm that you believe Zeus does not exist, and then you provided the reasons for why.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's. Okay. So yeah, I did. And so no. Let me finish. You asked me a question. Let me answer.
Y'all need to just calm down.
Let me answer the question. No, John keeps wanting to overtalk me. You asked me a question. So let's look at it this way. If belief is a scale of 0 to 100, and 50-50 is I don't know, and 49 is I don't believe, and 51 is I do believe, right? So it's a sliding scale, John. It's not one or the other, right? So I could say I'm 49% sure that Zeus does not exist or does exist. I'm at 49 on the proposition Zeus exists. I would say I don't believe it. I happen to be at 0.01, but there's lots of things. So it's not this dichotomy you wanted to make it be, right? It's not. Well, John, it's not like that.
Of course, it's a dichotomy. You either believe or you lack that.
Tune him out for a second because he's not going to be helpful. He's interested in getting you on some kind of gotcha.
I know.
I do not think it's. Shut up, John. I'm talking now. Listen to you long enough, John.
Okay.
Jeff,
go for it.
It's the case. It is. He's led you down this flow chart, and you've kind of affirmed, at least kind of in some way. I don't know the exact wording. That you don't believe it because there's no evidence, but that's not the reason why you simply. That doesn't fully account for why you don't believe in Zeus. I'm almost positive. Shut up, John. Shut up.
You're reverting back.
Shut up, John. Shut up.
You're making false facts.
Shut up. Dude, I waited for you to finish. It's my turn now.
Why don't we talk about his Zeus does not exist?
Shut up. Listen, so Jeff, it's not just simply that you don't have evidence that he blah blah blah. There is a lot of evidence that Zeus does not exist.
That's not what that's your position. You're trying to put your position into his.
I'm asking him.
John.
That's not what Tom. That's not what Jeff said.
John.
No, I agree. That's not what he said. I agree. No. I hold
plenty of evidence. That's not what he's saying.
Up, dude.
John, let Tom talk.
I acknowledge. I got my hand up. He did not say that, John. He did not say that, right? But you put words in his mouth, right? And I am
absolutely asking, not, sir.
I am asking him, and I could be wrong, and you could be 100% right. But I don't think it's the case that he disbelieves in Zeus simply because lack of
He
evidence, right?
believes Zeus does not exist.
I
Please stop saying disbelieve.
disbelieve could be a belief in the negative. That's what I mean by
Once
that.
again, why don't you just use? He did not use the word disbelieve, irrespective of how you want to characterize it. Why don't you
Hey,
just use
John,
the exact words? He
John,
believes Zeus does not exist. Why don't you
Right.
keep repeating
Fine.
that
It
phrase,
makes no
John.
difference.
Tom?
Fine. He believes Zeus is simply
Thank
because
you.
of lack of evidence. There's a lot of evidence that Zeus does not exist.
What was
Yeah,
his
And
reason, Tom? What was his reason?
you do this because you want him to you want to just parody some sort of lack of belief thing about Zeus,
You're
right?
claiming there's evidence. Okay, we can examine that too, and I can demonstrate that to be irrational. But we're just looking at Jeff's position for his belief that Zeus does not exist. Okay,
well, I,
he
I,
did
I
not
agree with
say that he had evidence.
I agree. I agree. I agree with Tom that there is probably, and I couldn't quote it, but there probably is very good evidence that Zeus does not exist.
And then we can
But
explore that too,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
definitely.
According to mythology, Zeus creates lightning and throws them. We know that lightning bolts are caused by buildup of static
You're
electricity and
just
then
trying to bail him
discharge.
out, Tom. These are none of the
Yeah,
things
I
that
am.
Jeff is saying.
I
I
am.
can understand if that's your reason for the belief that Zeus does not exist. We can once again we can
No,
examine
but
that.
he's
We
going to
can
think the
go
same
down that
thing.
road, and
He
you'll still
look, just
come to the
because he
rational
hasn't
data end.
elaborated in the same way doesn't mean he doesn't think it. He's probably going to affirm everything that I say.
And even
I
if he
yep.
did, we can ask you a series of questions too, Tom. And what you're saying now, I can demonstrate in a path of line of questioning. You'll find that your reasons are irrational as well.
I don't think that's irrational.
You
Go
think
ahead.
being
Try me.
skeptical. You think being skeptical of something, and until
This
given
is
good
not
reasons to believe it.
skepticism. We're talking about being
Sir,
convinced of a
one second. I'm
proposition.
listening to you
Yeah.
real quick.
Now you've interrupted me again.
We're
You didn't.
talking about.
You didn't even let me finish what I was saying.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, do you believe that being skeptical and believing things only when given sufficient reason is not a reliable way to to think?
Yeah, the answer to your question, it's irrelevant because you're claiming not to be skeptical, but to be convinced that Zeus does not exist. This is the topic of discussion.
I didn't say. Yeah, you keep putting words. I didn't say I was convinced.
No,
Did
no,
I?
sir. Okay, you're right. I use the word convinced. You believe that Zeus does not exist. Now, if you
Yeah,
want
but
to, I use
belief
the
just
word convinced
reduces down to whether or
synonymously
not
with
you're
with
convinced.
believe. Okay, if you think that someone believing something and someone being convinced of something are two different words, well, I'll accept that, and I'll rescind the word convinced. You simply believe, according to your words, that Zeus does not exist.
And again, if 49, if Zeus, I believe Zeus does not exist. I'm at 0%, and there's nothing you could say that would convince me Zeus existed. And 100% being, I'm absolutely 100% that Zeus exists, and nothing you could say could dissuade me. If 49% or is what meaning I don't believe, and 51% is I do believe, right? So I don't believe in Zeus. And you can fill in any of the blanks that got me on that side in any way you want to, but that's where I'm at.
It's not that you don't believe in Zeus, Jeff. It's that you believe he doesn't exist. This is what we're talking
Can
about.
I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff. So a minute ago you said when Tom was talking about evidence for the non-existence of Zeus, you said there probably is quite a bit of evidence out there to prove the non-existence of Zeus. When you say there probably is that because you haven't looked into the positive evidence for the non-existence of Zeus?
That's correct.
Okay, so then what would your criteria
I
be?
don't think that's true.
Well,
I think if you
I couldn't quote the Greek for you, right? I couldn't tell you the
No,
stories.
no, look. It's just gonna be like if we use philosophical terms and stuff like that. You may not know what the term is, but you know of the referent. Oh, that, yeah, okay, that's what that is. Okay. Now, when we're talking about evidence for why Zeus doesn't exist, Zeus was initially posited as the explanation for a lot of things that we currently understand, but we did not understand back then. Now, Jeff is probably privy to many of those explanations. And so, yes, he is aware of them. Just because he can't put them into words right now doesn't mean that he doesn't know them. Right?
Well, no,
Like the
I'm
lightning
actually
bolt
just
thing, you didn't think that he knew that lightning bolts like we have a
Yeah,
scientific explanation. Of course he
yeah,
fucking knew that.
Hey, hold
and,
on, wait a second,
and I knew Zeus. Yeah,
I'm just asking Jeff questions and getting his answers, and then now Tom, you're answering for Jeff. You
That's
actually
correct.
disagreed
Yes.
with Jeff's
Yeah, that's
answer.
correct. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, you are correct. And John, you are correct. I am answering for him and I am bailing him out. Yes, that's correct. And if you got a fucking problem with it, you're going to have to kick me off the fucking stage.
All right.
Tom, I respect that honesty.
I'm back, baby. What's wrong? You want to isolate a calf? Is that what
No,
you're
I
trying
mean
to do here?
your honesty is correct, but trying to bail someone out is not necessarily
you know,
correct.
I don't feel like I needed bailing out. I'm a big boy, and I appreciate it, Tom. And I'm not the most philosophical. I've not been doing this all my life, but I'm a pretty smart guy, and I might not know all the terms, but I know bullshit when I hear it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, real quick. Hey, Jeff, did you move me down to the audience?
no, sir, I did not.
All right, who moved me down to the audience?
I have
I
no
did,
idea,
because you
sir.
moved Tom. We don't do that here, Khalilullah.
Actually, Matt Adams and I had already spoken about this, and I can put it up as my PTR. He's the one that created this room, and if somebody has foul language like Tom just gave us here, I have full permission to move him down to the
I
audience. So I'm
I, I,
saying,
I used Khalil.
hold on, let me finish. I was granted permission by the person who created this room. So for you to do what you just did is disingenuous.
Khalil.
Yeah, well,
Matt was in the
I'm
room.
the last
Excuse me.
part in
Hang on,
here, and
Rob.
I don't accept that.
Yeah, hey, Khalil. Matt was in the room a while ago, and I used some very foul language, and he was in the room. He did not move me down off the stage.
That's because, yeah, that just shows that you're the target. So foul language is not actually why I was booted. I was
Yeah, I
booted
think
because
that's the case.
I was
No,
interfering. I was interfering with you trying to select a wounded calf from the herd, isolate it
oh
without any obstruction, and try and devour it. That's why.
man, Jeff,
I,
I wonder how disappointed you are that Tom has to call you a wounded calf.
That's a cute
That's
little
pretty
He is
bad.
tactic, but no
degrading.
one
He is
cares.
Bad.
degrading you right now. He's saying
No, no,
that
no.
you are
That's
not
your
good enough to go up
perception.
against me, and now Tom has to step in to save you. How does
well,
Yeah.
that make you feel, Jeff?
How does it make it
uh,
feel? You mean the person? How does it make the person
I'm not
feel who?
asking you, Tom. I'm asking
How does
Jeff.
the
Could I
person
please get
feel
his
who
answer?
admittedly said that he's not as philosophically inclined as you? I don't think he would care at all.
Okay, so that's not what you said. You literally called him a wounded calf. Why is he wounded?
It's an analogy because you perceive him to be easier prey. That's the
No, no,
analogous property.
that's you with your own opinion on how I perceive Jeff. I have had many good conversations with Jeff. I'm sure you probably should have caught some of those on your recordings and put them up on Tom Rabb because me and Jeff have
I
had
only
many
try
good
to
conversations.
record valuable conversations that are entertaining.
Yeah, well, I've been on your show quite a few times.
So
to
why
to
would you
to
think?
So, anyways, let's get back to the point of this red herring.
To Khalil's defense, he and I have had excellent conversations, Tom. And how do I feel about
That's
Tom? And how do I feel about Tom trying to come to my rescue? I'm appreciative, and that someone would care enough to try to help me better articulate the arguments that I know that I have, and he's trying to help me put words to them. So I'm appreciative,
yeah. That's all I was
and
Yeah,
doing. Like I
yeah.
said,
I just think that I
he
just
had.
think there's a better way to go about it than calling you a wounded calf. You know,
That's
it's
just
kind of
an analogy,
disrespectful.
and the analogous property was that you were trying to isolate him because that's how lions try to hunt with regards to
Well,
herds.
to my
All I
defense,
said was, can I ask him
I
a
didn't feel
question?
that way. Yeah, I didn't feel that way.
I
I didn't
sat
feel like
back
I was
with
trying
my
to be
mic
isolated.
muted for a multitude of for several minutes, just listening to the conversation, while all three of you, while you, Delgado, and Jeff, and multiple other atheists, dogpiled John. And then when I say, "Hey guys, it's kind of silent. Can I ask a question?" Now you're claiming that I'm isolating Jeff. I simply just asked a grown-ass man a
Yes,
question.
because you booted me. You booted me under the grounds that I used foul language, but then Jeff brought up the
Yes.
point that he used foul language and he
This is
was
a red
not
herring.
booted,
Can we get back
which
to the
means that
context?
that couldn't be the reason.
Tom,
Hey
stop
guys,
trying to
hey guys,
gatekeep
hey
people.
guys, I've got to. I'll be away for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. I'll hold down the fort.
Why don't you speak to Tom, Khalilullah? He's one of the stronger atheists, because I agree with Tom. You're going after Jeff, or so is John, because you realize he's less experienced than some of the other guys. I don't see you guys lining up to go after Jack or Tom or Darth or any of these guys. But when you find one of those guys, it's much easier for you because they're not going to necessarily have a strong argument. But you got Tom here, so why
Yeah,
don't
I
you
mean, everybody likes
challenge
to.
Tom?
Nobody likes to just go after people that they think are gonna be more formidable. A lot of the times, it's understandable.
I take issue to the fact that you guys are saying that I went after like some lion, some weak prey. Jeff and I have
Yeah.
had good conversations. I'm having an
That's
honest
not
conversation
incompatible
with
with this
him.
situation.
I
The
mean,
way it went
Jeff
down.
could take it. You could take it any way you want, Jeff. But I don't appreciate your friends here mischaracterizing me.
This is a cute attempt at trying to like use this analogy to like beyond the scope of what I explicitly laid out, but it's about a hunting technique, and the isolation came when you removed me from the stage.
Listen, I don't I know just I mean Khalilullah, but it's not like I'm recruiting his assistants. He's his own person as well, and he actually listened for a very long time, and then he interjected to ask permission to ask a question. What's
Yeah.
wrong with that?
So
There's
But
nothing
wasn't
wrong with
what
it.
was
That's the point. Is that
yeah,
there was
that wasn't
nothing
the
wrong with
point.
that. And then atheism was being attacked. And Tom had to jump in because he's probably recording right now. And he's saying, hey, whoa, 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 I'm gonna interject and then get emotional and tell me that I have to kick him off the quote unquote fucking stage. So I said, okay, if that's what you want, that's what I'll give you.
oh no, your poor ears, your poor ears. But it was already pointed out, Khalil, that when Jeff used foul language, there was no objection. So that can't be the reason.
Yeah, well, I wasn't here. When I was here and there was foul language that was used,
Oh, but
Delgado
so
got
now that you
removed.
know about it, we should kick Jeff, right?
I wasn't here to make that decision. When I have the green button
You know
and
about it
I'm
now,
told
though.
by the, can I finish, please? Or are you just too scared to let me talk? Thank you. So when I am here with the green button, that is when this room is on my watch. And I got with the owner of the room to see exactly what his rules were because I don't want to go and step on people's toes who create rooms. So what I did was asked him. I said, why'd you remove Tom?" And I actually backed you up, Tom, because he originally moved you down thinking that you called John a retard when it was actually Delgado, and I removed Delgado from the room for calling him a retard and using that type of language. And then I told Matt, no, that wasn't Tom that said that. So he goes, okay. So there's the clarification right there that even with that type of language, that he was going to remove you because he thought you were cursing and calling people names. So while I'm in the room, I will do what the owner of the room wants me to do. But it seems like now you got emotional, got kicked off the stage, and then got brought back up. And your buddy Rob up here, who I guess he got emotional too, decided to kick me down and bring me back up without a mod.
Oh, everybody's so emotional. Oh.
Well,
Yeah, the room was in my
yeah,
watch, right? The room was in my
Why
watch.
don't
When
we
you
get
have your watch, you
yes,
do it your ways,
yes. And
and now we can move on.
I didn't break any of the rules that the owner of the room had set in place.
When it's my
That's your
Who
watch,
problem.
you
cares?
broke the rule that I don't agree with, and that's why you got kicked down. So it was my watch. Now we can move on, shall we?
I hope everybody sees this. I hope this is very
It's,
clear to everybody in the
it
audience.
seems like you're the one who's emotional, Khalil.
No, not at all. I'm not cursing at anybody. I'm not. I'm just saying that you
No,
guys are
no, no.
disrespecting the owner of
Being
the room.
emotional doesn't entail cursing. Is that what you think?
Oh my god.
So when you said I was being emotional, you just meant I was cursing?
Yeah. Isn't cursing a
Jeez.
sign of emotion?
No, not necessarily.
Does it entail emotional,
It's putting
Khalil?
an exclamation mark at the end of a verbal sentence.
Let's
Do you
move on.
It's
disagree
putting
with
some
that?
kind of rhetoric flair,
Now,
but yeah.
let's move on. That's right.
Yeah, let's get a civil conversation. God, guys, grow up.
There's a
Look,
topic of the
this
room
is the
here.
guy who's emotional and he keeps wanting to harp on it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was telling people
Is
when you kicked me
revelation a
off the fucking
reliable
stage.
pathway to truth?
Oh yeah, let's talk
No.
about it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that's straightforward. Other believers think it is. I don't know if we have any other believers that want to defend that. If it's no, that's fine. Then we can talk about something
well,
else.
first of all, I don't even know what revelation really means. And if someone wants to come up and tell me, answer the question, that's the title of the room, I would first